life insurance policy had been taken out on him by a guy named Kevin Pushia, who was a local Christian pastor, and hired another pastor at the cost of $50,000, James Omar Clea, to shoot Wallace.
Baltimore, Maryland, a city known for its history, its grit, and sadly, its crime. And there's one place here that locals speak about in whispers, Leakin Park. Officially, it's Gwynns Falls Leakin Park, the largest urban woodland on the East Coast. But in Baltimore, it has a darker nickname, the dumping ground. This isn't just an urban legend. For decades, bodies have been found here. Murder victims, missing persons, people who vanished and never came home. Leakin Park has been called one of the deadliest places in Baltimore, not because of shootouts, but because this is where the city's most gruesome secrets are hidden. The park is so notorious, police have described finding human remains here as routine. The homicide rates, missing person reports, number of bodies found in Leakin Park since the 1970s.
Over the years, dozens of bodies have been recovered from this park. In fact, if you've ever heard the podcast Serial about the murder of Haymon Lee, you know Leakin Park. That's where her body was found too. But this isn't just about the park, it's about the neighborhoods nearby. West Baltimore, Sandtown, Winchester, Edmondson Village, places that have struggled for decades with poverty, violence, and people disappearing without answers. Still, people here fight for change. They hold vigils. They look for the missing. They try to reclaim their community from fear. But in the shadow of Leakin Park, the danger is real, and the silence is deafening. So why does Leakin Park keep becoming a graveyard? Why are so many missing persons cases tied to this one stretch of woods? And why isn't the city doing more? In this video, we're going to break it down, fact by fact. YouTuber, investigator, and paranormal researcher Colin Browen has covered aspects of this community and its history, along with his team and guest. Maybe even the spirits of the victims. You gotta check this out.
Well, I'm for it. Hey everyone, you're watching Black Files Unlocked.
All right, this is Fairmont Park, which is actually a really nice neighborhood. There's some beautiful houses here. So it's like a middle-class neighborhood. There's some really big houses up there, but this has been a popular dump spot for years. And it also, when you get down here to the end where Winterbourne is, it's one of the last sort of private areas in the park that you can drive through where you could, dump a body out of your car and not be seen. Up Winterbourne up here, there was a serial killer. He killed 2 women. They think he killed 5. He came here to dump one of his victims up the road here, and this is in a residential street. It was really early in the morning. He threw this woman down the hill. He took her out of the car and threw her down the hill. Well, she was playing dead. She listened for the car to go off to leave, and she came up the hill, and he had cut off both of her ears. She was barely alive, but she survived, and she was the one who was able to identify him to the police. I don't remember his name, but it was right up here in the curve where she came out of the woods. And one of the people who live here, they saw her in the street naked and called the police. But here is Winterbourne, where things go dark. This is the last house on the block here. And then you have this, which is just like a horror movie. People dump stuff all along this road, trash. In 2007, I believe, there was a African man. He was found laying in the road, on this road. I believe he had been shot a bunch of times. The man who dumped the woman up here who cut her ears off, he dumped his other victim on this stretch of road here as well. The one thing about this road is, like, when you drive through, there's a bag.
Where?
Pull your window down. See the bag?
Oh, I do, yeah. Should grab the wood.
Feels like trash or
No, it's definitely tied up.
it's an animal. A cat or a small dog. But it's the same. That bag is the same bag that we always see when we come down here. Somebody, and for years now, has been dumping animals down here. And the only thing I can think of is that maybe the vet, maybe somebody who works at a vet who's supposed to take the animals to a cremation place.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't fathom cutting another bag open, but that's what's in that bag. It's either a cat or a small dog. No, it's an animal. It's an animal. Yeah, it's definitely... I'm not opening that.
Yeah, no.
I do not.
This is definitely like the creepiest street so far.
It's the last one in the park that you can still drive down. All the rest of them are closed off.
And why'd they close them off?
Because they don't want people dumping garbage and bodies.
There's a ton of trash you can just see too.
I mean, in the 70s, you think of how many people were coming down here with the city in ruins, dumping trash. I mean, back then they'd only pick up your trash once a week, or twice a month. There was no money. And then the city was overrun with rats, and people would bring their trash and dump it back here. So what you've got in these woods is years and years of garbage just underneath. You can dig anywhere and you'll find bottles and probably this here and here. Definitely there are human bodies buried here.
You think so?
Like without a doubt there are bodies, maybe not recently, but I think there's a lot of skeletal remains all along this road, in the woods here and the woods over here. The bodies that are dumped here, they don't dig. Back in the day, they dug. And back in the day, 11 o'clock at night, everybody was sleeping. So you see we've been here for 10 minutes. There's no cars. So if you had an accomplice, you just take the body in the woods. You could have a hole already ready. But if you buried someone in the woods here, they wouldn't be found.
It's like an animal walking back there.
Okay, so they're about to go further into the woods and it starts to get a bit eerie.
This is right down in here. Where this guardrail is where I found the skeletal remains of his. That was fun. That was really like dumb, because I was not expecting to play around with skeletal remains, but I'm like, there's police tape there. There's no way that the police could have left these pieces of skull and teeth and jaw and everything else there. I was wrong. It's like, it kind of hit me when the medical examiner showed up. They laid out this, essentially it was a small body bag, and they put the bones inside the body bag, put it on a stretcher, and I'm like, man, this is like the real deal. Like, this is, and I wasn't thinking like, oh god, this is great for my documentary. I mean, that's not what I was thinking at all. I just got this overwhelming feeling of sadness because, they told me he had a laptop and a skateboard. So obviously he was young, Yeah, he took a shotgun down there and blew his head off. It's like, I can't imagine if I were to doing it here. I can't think of a more horrid place. If I had known that the bones were human, I would have never touched them. I just thought, well, the police, there's no way the police would leave these here. So I said, I'm just going to pick them up because I was like, they look human, but the police couldn't leave these here. Then we get up to the road, lay it out, and everyone's like, oh my God. And we realize, yeah.
Why do you think Leakin Park has become such a magnet for murders and body dumping?
Leakin Park is surrounded by bad neighborhoods. Some of the worst neighborhoods in the city. It's an easy place to come and, you know, do the devil's work because there's nobody out here at night. So if you got to dump a body and you don't want it to be found, this is where you'd come. I think we underestimate how many bodies are in this park. You know, this park was here during when the Baltimore had mobsters. It was here. You know, you think of all that time and people who disappear and stuff. They could very well be buried in the woods. But I think the numbers of, you know, there's the website, and they have a map of the park and where murders have happened. But then it says, well, there's been 80 bodies. I think it's more like 180 or 280. I think it's a lot higher than. I think there's a lot of unsolved murders buried in these woods, and it would just be foolish to think any differently.
As you listen to this guy tell the story, you can kind of envision it in your head, and it is really sad.
See, during the day, it looks like a cool place to sit in solitude, think, and get some work done. But all the while, someone always lurking behind bushes and trees, watching you at any given time.
And that's pretty messed up not to be able to freely chill somewhere in a beautiful spot around there and have some peace away from the city.
And why do you feel like you personally have been so drawn to Leakin Park?
Initially, I was drawn to the park because I was looking for a story to do a video on. I had read about the murders off of Stokes Drive, where the 4 little boys were mutilated and found in the woods. I wanted to see if I could interview the guy who murdered them, who was 18 at the time. Now this happened back in the late 60s. When he was found with a bag that had the little boy's or genitals in the bag. So he was just, you know, stark raving mad. Then I just decided, I was like, well, I'll just kind of make an overview video. I started filming here, and I put out the first day of shooting. We're in the woods, and a gunfight happens just a few hundred feet away. I'm like, this is insane, you know, like, this is crazy. And then, like, you know, the Haymon Lee, these are the barriers here, but she was buried right back here. They found her, and that was the famous serial podcast, but she was buried back there. There's police tape on this pole here. You see a little bit of police tape there?
Yep.
I looked that up, and 2 men walked back here in these woods and found a body in a ravine. It was a woman that they found. She had been bludgeoned to death. They have done everything they can to block off. Notice along this road, you can't pull off anywhere, you can't park. They've done everything they can to keep people just moving through. But it used to be back in the day, there were dirt roads, there were areas you could pull off and whatever. Right here is a bad story too. This Bizarre story. That's bathrooms here. A man, his name was Lemuel Wallace. He was deaf and blind. Was found in this bathroom, shot in the back of the head, and shot numerous times. The police were surprised when an insurance company contacted them to verify information about his death because a $50,000 life insurance policy had been taken out on him by a guy named Kevin Pushia, who was a local Christian pastor, and hired another pastor at the cost of $50,000, James Omar Clea, to shoot Wallace in the back of the head. This freak of nature had a $1.4 million life insurance policy on this Lemuel Wallace, and he was trying to get the money so him and his gay lover could, I guess, take off to another land. I don't know what they were planning to do, but complete trash. And you should read about it because it's inhuman. It's like creatures. How do you kill a deaf, blind person who this pastor claimed was a relative, and that's how they were able to take Mr. Wallace out of the house and bring him here and murder him? Here's Lemuel Wallace right here. How could you do? How monsters? How could you do that? And this poor man, he's probably confused. He doesn't know what's going on. I don't know how his communication skills were, because there's a lot of deaf blind people who are able to sign. Jeez Louise, man. Sick. I hate this park. I really do. I hate it here. Anyone thinks that I enjoy coming here, I don't. I fucking hate it here. Everything bad has happened in this park. Every fucking horrible thing you can possibly think of has happened in this park. Everything. And I hate this park. I wish they would bulldoze the entire site and just put a memorial in the middle of it and pave the rest. There's nothing here that's cute or fun, or people are like, oh, I love the outdoors here. You're walking on like bloody soil. We're gonna try to move forward. The Friends of Leakin Park. We want to put a new image in the park and get people to come back. And no thanks. You're fucking crazy.
Police say they came to this dark, very heavily wooded area in northwest Baltimore. That's when they found the body down an embankment.
I can't tell you at this point in time if the body is that of a female or male, adult or juvenile, but we can tell you that it's absolutely human remains.
Yeah, that's the desiccated corpse of a dog. That is horrific, to say the least. Okay. What the fuck was that?
I think that might have been tires screeching.
Okay, let's just keep walking. Here it is right here. Okay, so right now we're in Leakin Park. I'm gonna try to keep my voice low because we don't know who's out here. Obviously, if you saw that footage of us walking up, we just heard either tires screeching or some sort of a screech from an animal or a human. You never know. Right behind me, if you guys have ever seen Dan's work, you've seen his episodes that he's filmed here at Leakin Park at an area really cold too. You feel that cold chill it just slept in?
Yeah.
But right behind me is an area that Dan has labeled the Devil's Well. Now, back in 2018, there was a man named Vishad Conyers who was dragged down here, killed, and his body was set ablaze and pushed down this well. They've sealed that well up since the murder, but this was the crime scene, and this is where this absolutely atrocious act took place. And we want to handle this episode with extreme respect and everything, but I gotta just put in here that honestly, out of any park I've ever been to in my life, any forest, Leakin Park is the creepiest. Like, I've been across the world to haunted forests, but just looking around right now, you guys can agree, this is like eerie, is it not?
It's very creepy.
I mean, just look at the trees. It's like something from like a gothic horror film. It's got this crazy, ominous vibe. Like, I mean, something bad is going on here. It just feels like we're in the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
I'm Kat.
I'm Edward. I've always wanted to come here though, so I mean, it's
Well.
creepy but exciting. So.
Yeah, we always want to be really careful. But we'll kill the light and go in IR really soon. But y'all think this is spooky?
Yeah, this is definitely spooky.
God, every car is like fucking.
You're just like, please don't stop. Please
Yeah,
don't stop.
I don't like it.
To anybody out here in Leakin Park, whether your body was dumped here or you were murdered out here, it's 3:30 a.m. and we're here to speak with you.
Feels like someone's gonna walk up at any time.
I mean,
If there's anybody with us right now, feel free to say something.
It's like so faint. I'm thinking I hear something. It's like,
me too. Yeah, it definitely messes with your mind being out here. I keep thinking I'm hearing like people walking in the woods, but
Like I keep looking that way.
what's that? Fire.
Yeah,
Fire.
like a very like
I was like very screaming.
yeah.
See more of the
Was that you trying to
documentary
talk to
and
us?
definitely the paranormal part of it? Go to Cullen Brown YouTube channel, The Paranormal Files. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Tune in with us next week if you like the content and or have a story you want us to share.
Yeah, guys, visit us next week for part 2. Take care.
Can you say that again if that was you?